Hiyo adventurers and art fighters. The second week of Artfight is always at the end. So here's the art that I drew in the week. Every day an artwork, so you can count, that's quite the amount. So I'll try to be keeping myself a bit short, but I hope you'd enjoy nonetheless. You can find all the links to the artists in the description. Alright, with that out of the way, have fun! Dane from Art by Sci-Fi was definitely one of the longer art pieces I did. I took full on 5 hours of, well, drawing and trying to finish it. Mainly because the goal behind this artwork was to make a gacha animation, gacha splash art inspired artwork. And it's specifically Honkai Star Rail and My Day and Fine Uncoded, because Dane is a knight who has been in plenty of fighting and wars. And I thought for the theme it could fit perfectly. If you want to have a more inside look into Dane's lore, I'll also link the video on about him, because Art by Sci-Fi is also on YouTube, so be sure to check them out. But this one I wanted to be something of a more stand-up-ish pose, so kind of like coming from darkness, coming from despair and pain, and rising up into the sunlight. Hence why I ended up using the diamond shape, the star shape, as the kind of attack animation in the end. Because if you've noticed in Honkai Star Rail, splash arts usually have something to do with the way those characters end up attacking. And I find that absolutely delicious. And yeah, originally I wanted to make it more anime-esque, but I struggled with the line art, and then I decided, okay, let's do it in my style. And so, yeah, I struggled even more, because I noticed how dark Dane's colors actually are in this version of his outfit. Usually he wears a knight outfit, like full-on armor plates, which is insane and absolutely amazing. But I like this one not more, but I liked it quite, and I thought it would fit. It already fit well into the Honkai Star Rail universe, so I decided to take it and yeah, draw a splash art for Dane. 5-star Dane. Would you pull for him? I definitely would. The next character I drew was Nefili. I'm sorry if I totally mispronounced that. By Eerie Vee. Basically another D&D character that's an Genasi who has been born into a royal family and became the heir to the throne. After finding out that the realm might be on total destruction, she herself took it upon her to save her kingdom and find a solution. Meanwhile, also slowly being in a secret relationship with someone. If you wanna find out more about her, I'll definitely go check her out. She is absolutely amazing. And Eerie Vee has a lot of absolutely stunning designs, which made it very difficult for me to, well, find and decide on one. In the end, I really liked about the design that it was really night vibes, and it had this contrast between the dark blue and then the white color scheme. So I definitely knew I wanted to draw her in a like night scenario with a bit of like lighting coming from her hair. Because it was already in some of the pieces in rainbow colored, and it was absolutely amazing. I had so much fun drawing and running out the hair and the clothes, and in the end, the little crown she has on her head I don't know the actual name currently, so you have to bear with me. I'm only a German. English isn't my native language, but yeah. And I ended up loving that Air Genasi. Absolutely happy with how it turned out. It was one of my more simpler poses, but I thought it would be fun, and I enjoyed myself. I struggled a bit with the silver, to be honest, especially like on the crown, but I think it turned out quite nice. So I'm quite happy with it. I hope you like it too. The next OC that I drew ended up being silver from Alenorjs, and they are absolutely stunning. They are currently they are a current protagonist in one of Alenorjs' cyberpunk novels that is about to come out. So I'll link you to Alenorjs as well. And I can't tell you much about them really, except that they are seemingly not human. But I really love their design. The hair was absolutely stunning, and the way Alenorjs draws eyes is just... there's something chef's kiss about it. Especially with the design. And the neon like colors of the first outfit that they had in the references. I absolutely had to draw them. And I ended up deciding for a more happier pose. Because apparently they are going through enough suffering already, so I might as well just draw something happy. Which, fair enough. Fair enough. And so I had the thought of like them being happy and chatting, since they do have a lover eventually, or like in the story. I'm not sure, I haven't read it yet. But they seem to be, at least in that department, really happy, so I wanted to take that as an option to really just bring out the happiness, have them smile, be on camera, be on a like Zoom call or something, technologically wise, and then have just like have a billboard or something cyberpunky in the background. I'm not the best at cyberpunk and drawing like different kinds of tools and stuff, but I find that the genre is quite underrated, so I just had to. I am an absolute love with how the pose turned out and how the foreshortening turned out. And I did learn a lot through this piece as well. And yeah, the skin rendering was also... I loved it. And drawing the hair, of course. Although maybe it did turn out a bit darker than... yeah, what I initially wanted to, but I think it's good. I still like it. Syra is a princess made by Moonartart on Artfight. I'll also link everything in the bio. And she uses her fire powers to lighten up the knife. And her hair essentially has sort of like the same color scheme. So I knew it when I first saw her that I had to draw her and her knife. I definitely wanted something action posing for her because she's absolutely stunning. She's such a gorgeous queen. I had to. Apparently she ends up going with a group of other royalties and who each who have their own powers in the end. And I like that concept very much, so even more reason to draw her. So I ended up deciding on pretty soon on the post that I definitely wanted the knife with fire to be in one of the top spots, like be on focus, and her eyes and her hair kind of glowing the same way. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle figuring out how to render the hair, because coloring ombre hair is a bit difficult in my art style, because you have to pick colors and just kind of like figure out how to do the you know what I mean. You know, the parts where it changes color slightly, so where the reddish color goes into the orange and then the yellow. I struggled a bit with that, but the clothing pretty much was very simple, and I like that as well. It has definitely a charm where you immediately focus on the face and the hair, because the colors are so vibrant that the eye is directly thrown to them. So big shout out to Moon. Yeah, and in the end I decided I wanted to have sort of like a night scene to to give it more of a reason why the hair and the fire and the eyes are more in a lightning scenario. So yeah. I had fun with it and enjoyed the process. The next character I drew for Artfight was Fyodor Sol Orelin. I'm again sorry if I mispronounce any of it. By MossIsOut. Essentially, they lost their parents very soon and had to become a king very early. And due to one side being unhappy with him, struggled a lot as well, as far as I understand and remember correctly. So he's been through a lot eventually, but they did find a nice relationship with Alexei, and so I knew I wanted to do something cute with this. I initially wanted to challenge myself a bit again with drawing from the bird's eye perspective as well, and then when I had the idea roughly sketched, the idea came of like including Alexei in this piece by just simply drawing a hand from above and having this kind of like intimate scene in between where the two are just happy to have themselves and support each other. And I gave it a rather warm color scheme by just adding like a like just reddish colors on it, and I think it turned out quite cute. I made the gems a bit darker so they could like pop more, especially with how the way I shaded. It became darker in the cliffs, so I decided to at least darken them up a little bit. And yeah, I had really much fun drawing Soul because I don't know, the whole color scheme, the whole design of Soul is absolutely stunning. And I fell in love with it. So I definitely am happy with how it turned out. And I do love me a good elf character. I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope you liked it as well. Be sure again to check out every like Artfighter and MossIsOut as well. The next OC was by NatalieViola, or Nat for short, who has this beautiful character called Adrian. Basically, he can transform into a merman, and he also fell in love with the wrong person and had to leave his home. So I just had to go and run with this. I'm sorry. Mainly because his design is amazing, and Natalie has this one beautiful artwork with the gold foil, where the gold is like in focus. And I have that at home as a print, because that goes on conventions. And I absolutely love the arts they do. Again, they them because I'm not actually sure as this point of recording. And the art is just incredibly pretty, so I had to draw Adrian. And for Adrian, I wanted to focus on the merman kind of like version of him. So I decided to kind of take the same approach, take the top and just go on based on this. I also wanted the backstory to matter quite a bit, so I kind of decided to draw Adrian leaving his home. I wasn't too sure what the color is, mainly because the references were in a sort of like very grayish scale colors, so I decided to at least amp up the colors a bit. But the same value should be roughly the same again. I hope it's fine and lovely. I ended up drawing a simple tail, but adding like a few fabrics to the tail because I love when more people have like fabrics on. I think you already can see with Asher. But yeah, I had again a tons of fun and a tons of angstiness included with them. I kept the background rather simple-ish, but still a scene, so yeah, I can earn those points. But yeah, I had a lot of fun drawing him, and it was cool experimenting as well. I love the way his hair is in the front, and I had a lot of fun with it as well. So yeah, be sure to check out that as well. Lily is essentially a character from AliceDepictWorld who has also a webtoon called Looking for Something Good. I already knew them years ago. We do in a Discord server a lot of like secret Santa events, and I drew Lily 2 times in a row, and I just had to draw her once more because Lily is a very pretty character. She is very elegant, modern, and wears modern designer clothes that don't show too much skin. She is a free spirit who is constantly in the spotlight because of her well-known noble family and must maintain a polite distance from everyone. She often grows stars and withdraws, but if someone gets too close, she can become dismissive and snarky. And I absolutely loved the character traits for her, so I just knew I had to draw her in a pretty summer pose. Especially since it's hot and, you know, I want to cool off myself. I had to draw her with ice cream and sun in the background and making this just a nice warm summer piece. I also wasn't sure whether I could make this tragic or not, so I kept it safe. I did a lot more happy artworks, I suppose, for this year than I was expecting, but it is fun. I was a bit struggling in the end to get it done on that day because, yeah, a lot of like, yeah, family drama ended up happening, but I ended up finishing her on stream, and it was a nice and cozy environment, so there's at least that. I always love drawing Lily's hair. Her red long hair is just so gorgeous. I have a lot of fun with it as well. So a big shout out to AliceDepictWorld. Again, every artist that I've mentioned here you can find down below in the description. I'm hugely grateful also for you guys for watching and commenting or just liking or just lurking in between. I appreciate that a lot. And with that, I hope you are getting ready for next week because I'll do a summary as well. You can decide to stay with me. Or not, who knows? I hope you have a great rest of the week and happy art fighting.